Maria Jimenez, and I'm with the Central American Resource Center. I'm a Special Projects Coordinator.
And why are you here today?
We've been working to oppose 287G both at the city and at the county level. Today is the decisive vote for Harris County on whether or not to renew the memorandum of agreement with DHS to continue the 287G program in the county jail. One of the first things I have to clarify is that I've never seen the level of fear people have right now, because I think it's pretty clear to people they've experienced friends or neighbors or church members being stopped and turned over to either the city jail, who then turns over misdemeanor Bs or Cs, misdemeanor Bs or As over to the county, and they've seen the sheriff. So people on the street know the effect it's having in family and community and in the city and in the county. And so fear is at an all-time high. Secondly, I think the community is really opposed to this particular issue. We were at a rally about 2 weeks ago where the majority were immigrants, and when we talked about having defeated the 287G at the city level, people got up and cheered. So that told me that the sentiment is very strong within the community against this measure, not because they read talking points or because they've never met with authorities, but because they're seeing the effect every day in their families, in their neighbors, and in the community, as well as the city. They know already people who have been arrested and deported.
Tenemos casos evidentes que por el simple hecho de no traer licencia de conducir y no aceptan ni siquiera la matrícula consular de México, simplemente no traen licencia de conducir, he sabido casos de que los han arrestado y los han deportado simplemente por eso. También por un delito menor, clasificación C, también los han deportado simplemente por eso. Personas que están en televisión como CNN, una persona que está ahí hablando mal de los inmigrantes, que todos somos criminales, que todos somos una carga para este país, que todos cometemos muchos crímenes, están generalizando nuestra comunidad. De esa manera, por medio de los medios, muchas personas que son millonarios y que pertenecen a grupos de odio también, ellos están mal informando.
En realidad somos una comunidad que está apoyando, estamos aquí porque estábamos apoyando para que no se diera el proceso de la aprobación de la 287G. Ya pasó, estamos tristes por el veredicto, por lo que la aprobación para que continúen ejerciendo esta ley. Sin embargo, pues estamos confiando en que Dios tiene todo bajo control y haciendo a la comunidad un aviso y un anuncio para que se cuiden, ¿verdad? Que los que andan en la calle tengan cuidado, porque no quisiéramos que fueran un número más de las personas, de las familias que están siendo separadas a través de esta ley.
Everybody. It's going to affect us the economic. I mean, of course, they're going to have to bring in more staff because, I mean, I pulled the data from on Monday, and they had a total of 500 released and arrests. So if you look at the police sheriff's department data on they release and their arrest and release rate, just imagine the increase that it's going to take. So it's going to take more manpower, and of course, it wasn't mentioned in the budget as far as who's going to cover that cost. They're going to have, right now they got employees that's screening and doing the screening, but of course they're going to have to hire more because of the mass arrests. And Harris County is a major, big, diverse city. Friendswood County, it's just not Harris County. Everybody goes to the county jail. So if they're saying that they're not going to be targeting them on the streets, they're going to be targeting them on the streets. And then at the same time, once they get into their jailhouse, everybody getting run through the system. That's even misdemeanors. That's not what the program is designed for. The program is designed for serious offenses, felonies.
What?
what angers me the most is the fact that our Sheriff Garcia, is naive to the fact that the police on the street is not going to abuse the authority of the 287G policy. I mean, we have to take a look at what happened in Dallas, where the police officer was ticketing and arresting individuals that didn't speak Spanish. Okay, so, you know, if police know that they have this policy in place, they're going to use it. And they're going to target the black, the Latino, Asian. I mean, they're gonna be destroying families.
I'm here with other folks from Students for Democratic Society, and we've been working this semester on trying to educate folks about the 287G program and how we think it's a totally unnecessary program. It violates people's civil rights. It's a really bad use of money. It's taking a federal problem and trying to deal with it locally in a way that's sure to encourage racial profiling. I mean, the Sheriff's Department in Houston has a history of racism. It was just 2 or 3 years ago that the Barra brothers were arrested, and they recently won a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against the Sheriff's Department they were at an apartment complex and took pictures of sheriffs doing a drug raid, and the sheriffs put it was winter, and they put all these kids out outside with no clothes on, and it was freezing cold, and they took pictures, and the Sheriff's Department broke down the door and arrested them, and went through did a lot of work to cover up the fact that they'd done this. So the idea that we're going to take the Sheriff's Department word that they're going to be just and fair and not use racial profiling is totally violates common sense. There's no reason that we should believe that. Harris County, Houston is going through crazy demographic changes. 75% of the population over 65 years old is white, and only 25% of the population under 25 years old is white. And I think that really scares old white people, but as a young white person, that's not scary. Houston is an awesome city. There's all kinds of cool people, and we should be trying to be an international city and embrace diversity, and that the county commissioners want to sort of go back into Jim Crow law enforcement is embarrassing, and I'm constantly convincing people that should come visit Houston because it's awesome, and now I'm gonna have to be Houston's awesome, but Harris County is run by a bunch of racist jerks. So, yeah.
A huge problem with jail overcrowding. This impacts the jail in terms of how long people stay in the jail. It impacts local police decisions. We're going to be watching how this affects whether or not police give folks tickets or arrest them. We'll be concerned to see whether or not police start arresting folks for petty offenses. That's a serious concern. Rebecca Bernhardt, the ACLU of Texas.
Well, supposedly it's for the jail. What we've seen on the field is that it's the same thing. It's a de facto field enforcement, because ultimately down the chain of command, they're still instructing their officers that, to bring in people for minor offenses, not giving them a ticket as they would normally when you don't have a tail light or when you don't have your driver's license. And so it's a de facto field enforcement. And for the city, it was to cover misdemeanor Cs. So again, we saw that it was too wide of a net, and in practice, it's the same thing. Let me say that even though we may lose the vote today, we're ready to begin documentation of the cases and to continue organized with the ACLU and other groups to try to file grievances at the civil rights at the federal court level, but also to fight this with the Obama administration. So the fight isn't over.